This one,
Loca. So tell us what made you decide to join the community? I know you had just done your wedding, right? Is that right?
yes, yes. So I got laid off at the end of August from last year, but I was going to get married on February from this year. So I can't remember when did I join the community? Was it
April.
like April?
Beginning of April. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
You got
so
your
I
offer in
started.
8 weeks.
Yeah. So I started kind of like job searching last year, like at the end of last year, but it was like very difficult because, like holidays, vacation, December is like very typical. Yeah, it was hard. On January, I kind of like stopped searching because the wedding was coming. Returned like on mid-March, and I joined the community on April. And when I joined the community, like one thing that I did from the beginning was go through like all of the documents that we had like on the classroom, even if there were some things that I already did in the past. So I still looked at everything, and I think I still like changed some things on my resume. Yeah, like I reach out to you like, hey, I have this on my LinkedIn as my bio. Like I still saw and analyzed what other things could I get better. And yeah, and then I started like job searching using the job tracking. I had like my Google Sheet. Yeah, I had like all my tabs already pinned in my Google Chrome. It was like a job. I woke up like at 8, but then I was full on my computer like for 8 hours doing the same process every week, like tracking. I think that one thing that was really helpful for me is that I used to apply to jobs, kept like all the information in my Google Sheet, but after applying, like I searched for the recruiters or hiring managers in LinkedIn, but I was paying for like a platform, it's called Any Mail Finder. This platform was very, very helpful in giving me like the mails of the people, like kind of like fast, because I didn't need it to be like testing like Stephanie dot or S dot last
Hmm.
name. I didn't spend time or wasted time like testing those. Like I prefer to pay. It was like $20 per month,
Hmm.
and that was very, very helpful. And I also used to have like different like carpets like on my mail, like okay, first email, second email, so that I knew where do I need to follow up or which ones were I already like in an interview process or. So being like very organized helped me a lot.
Nice. What was your day to day like? What did you do every day? And what did you make sure that you had to complete by the end of the day every single day?
Yeah, so I used to have like in a Google Doc like all the search like websites, like I well found, remote, okay, like the different ones. And what I used to do is like, okay, on Monday I start with the first one and I go through it looking for the role or position I'm looking for, start applying the much as I can. And if I'm done with the first website, I used to go with the second one and third, fourth, yeah. And usually, what I try to do is that maybe from Monday to Wednesday or Tuesday, focus on just applying. And then Wednesday through Friday, I was just focused on sending emails. So if I got to, let's say, end of Tuesday and I say, okay, I already applied to 30 jobs, 30 different companies. Okay, so let's start sending emails. I used to do it that way because I thought I was faster than applying and going to the emails and
Hmm.
then back applying. Like I used to apply and then just emails just in my Gmail. So yeah, that was like my process. And every time that I was done with all the websites, I used to go way again to the beginning again. Well found, the same ones because
Hmm.
they update and
Hmm.
post new roles maybe every day or every week. So
Cool.
every time the whole process, yeah.
I love that. I love that system. Yeah, I tell folks to batch also. So you have to find what works for you, right? Like some people, like I used to apply to 6 a day and then do the prospecting, but some people want to do like you. They want to do all the applying and then you know one of the numbers, then you have to go through and just do all the emailing and you already have the applications in. That's really cool. Yeah, you have to figure out what helps you stay organized. Share, do you know some of your numbers? Sort of, I know you were doing really pretty high outreach. Were you hitting 30 applications and 30 prospecting each week? Were you hitting more than that?
Yeah, I would say between 20 and 30. Yeah, no less than. So that was like my average number per week. But then per company, sometimes I used to send more than one or two emails. For some companies, I even sent like 10 emails.
Hmm.
And it was really interesting because sometimes I used to send emails to maybe people who were not the hiring manager or not related to the role. But there were people who were very nice to me and told me like, hey, I'm not in that department, but I can refer you. I will let the recruiter know that we talked. And I think that also like helps. So yeah, I used to send maybe between 5 or 10 emails per company.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember you sharing that. And
Mhm.
also for the record, I don't know if folks in the room know, you're in Guatemala. You're not even in the US. You are
Yeah.
applying to just American remote companies. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. And it was difficult. I even got almost to the final stages of certain companies who didn't know or didn't realize that I was in Guatemala. And at the end they were like, hey, we cannot hire you because we can just hire just people who
Hmm.
are US that have a
Hmm.
US citizenship. So it was
Hmm.
like way more difficult for me to actually get a job.
So you were applying, okay, definitely 30 roles, and then you were doing 4 to 5 emails per company. How many interviews were you having per week? What was your conversion like
I would say between 2 and 4, at least two.
every
Yeah.
week? Hmm.
Every week. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then you went to the final rounds, like to the end of how many of those?
So almost four, but one of them doesn't count because it couldn't hire me.
Hmm.
So yeah, three.
Three
Three.
final rounds. Okay.
Yeah.
And then one offer, one we are waiting on and
Yes.
leveraging the other offer to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. That's really cool. It's such a good positioning. It's ideal. Idea, you want to be in sort of like 4 to 5 final rounds. A couple will convert. One, hopefully you leverage to get the one you want. So, or you just have one in case you don't get the other one. Very cool. What would you tell someone who is skeptical about doing this process? Yeah. What are some things you would tell them about just what helps you do it every single
Mm,
day?
I would say that the most important thing is consistency. I know that, or at least for me, being unemployed is like you have good weeks, you have bad weeks, good days, bad days. But consistency is the key. Like work through the process as if it was your job. And yeah, eventually it will come. Like if you follow the rules and you read all the documents, you have your LinkedIn updated. And even I think like having the community helps a lot. Like knowing that there's people in the same position as you are that are also encouraging you. It's not the same talking about this with somebody who already has a job and has been there for 10 years that for somebody who's actively searching. So yeah, I think that helps a lot. And also following certain people on LinkedIn, opening and having more connections, that's also something that helped me
Hmm.
a lot. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, consistency is definitely key. And I actually just peeked at your completion rate for the classroom and you're like at 100%, almost
Ah,
at 100% for all of it, which is really great. I mean, it really tracks to just like, going through the materials and making sure even as you said in the beginning, like just making sure your LinkedIn is actually as good as it can be and your resume is as good as it can be, even if you come in already having optimized those things, just making sure you're covering all your bases. Because you could also, those materials are being updated every once in a while, especially if you've worked with me in the past, I'm updating it all the time. So that's great to hear.